In the early 1970s, a series of disappearances and homicides struck Clark County, Washington. 7 women and girls vanished from the same area, and the pattern led investigators to one name: Warren Leslie Forrest. Today, after decades of silence, the Clark County Sheriff's Office cold case team is seeking your help to uncover the truth. Warren Forrest, currently serving 2 life sentences, is known for the brutal murders of Krista K. Blake in 1974 and Martha Morrison in the same year. But those may not be his only victims. Between 1971 and 1974, Forrest is suspected of being behind the disappearances and deaths of at least 7 women and girls in Clark County. The victims included 16-year-old Jamie Grissom, disappeared in December 1971. 18-year-old Barbara Ann Derry was murdered in February 1972. 14-year-old Diane Gilchrist went missing in May 1974. 19-year-old Gloria Nadine Knutson was murdered in May 1974. 15-year-old Norma Jean Countryman was kidnapped in July 1974. 18-year-old Carol Valenzuela was murdered in August 1974. And 17-year-old Martha Morrison was murdered in August or September 1974. Her remains were discovered in October 1974, but not identified until July 2015. 20-year-old Krista Blake was murdered in July 1974. Each of these victims shared common characteristics, and their disappearances followed a similar pattern, making investigators believe they were connected. Forrest was first apprehended in 1974, after kidnapping, raping, and attempting to murder a young woman near Lacamas Lake. She survived, leading detectives directly to Forrest. At the time, he was employed by the Clark County Parks Department and lived in Battleground with his wife and 2 daughters. Despite this arrest, the true scope of his crimes only began to unravel in the years that followed. In 1978, Forrest was convicted of the murder of 20-year-old Krista Blake, with a key piece of evidence: the air pistol he used to commit the crimes, seized from his home in 1974. In 2014, the Clark County Sheriff's Office Major Crimes Unit revisited these cold cases. A breakthrough came when DNA from the air pistol was matched to Martha Morrison's remains. In 2020, Forrest was extradited to Clark County, and in 2023 convicted for her murder. The investigation doesn't stop there. Clark County Sheriff's Office detectives are now focused on the unsolved murder of Carol Valenzuela, whose remains were found near those of Martha Morrison. The bodies were discovered in a dense, remote area of Dole Valley, and investigators believe Forrest may be responsible for both deaths. The cold case team continues its work using modern DNA technology to analyze new evidence. Hair and nail samples from Forrest's van, which was used in his crimes, are being tested, and investigators are hopeful they'll uncover links to other unsolved cases. They are also searching for the remains of Jamie Grissom and Diane Gilchrist, whose disappearances remain unresolved. The Clark County Sheriff's Office cold case team is asking for your help. If you have any information that could aid in these investigations, or if you know anything about the victims or Forrest's activities during the 1970s, please contact the cold case tip line at 3603-972036. Together, we can bring justice to the victims and their families, and perhaps finally close the chapter on a dark period in Clark County's history. For more updates on these cases, stay connected with the Clark County Sheriff's Office.